They're so much more advanced than anywhere in North America. It puts them to shame. And so now people are going, oh, like, wow. And then you lift the visa and it's like, wow, it's a viable option too.
What do you think is going on right now with the Chinese government? Do you think that that's something that has got a lot of stability right now based on what you know about it?
Are the people
I
happy
think
there?
so. I think so.
Yeah.
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 So you,
Population's happy. They're not like feeling like they're under surveillance and they have the credit scores and all the weird shit people always talk about. Everything's
Uh, I
cool.
I think in a way that most Chinese people they they are actually backing up with the government's position against the U.S. trade war.
yeah.
Um, so I think that's also one thing that China probably did better than the States is that the public is actually supporting the fight back.
Okay.
You
Unified.
know, in the States, somehow people have different opinions. Some people support the fight, they vote for Trump, but including some people who already vote for Trump and people who didn't vote for Trump, they are not 100% with the trade war.
Two-party
Um,
system.
yeah,
Right?
so I think right now there's nothing wrong with the stability. It's um, the general public support what's the government's position, and it ended up a good thing for both China and US. They come back and sit on the table, discuss the plan to move forward. So that's what I've been seeing.
So,
Yeah.
so based on news we've heard recently about some liberals that were running. What was that whole story where the guy said, there was the bounty on the guy? Do you know what I'm talking about? Joe Tay, I think it was.
Yeah, that was a
And
Hong
they
Kong.
arrested
That
like
was a
his,
guy who is from Hong Kong
but they
who
arrested his
the
family and they make all kind of threats. Like, do
yeah.
do you have to worry about what you say on a podcast like this in fear that like the Chinese government, if you say something against them, will do something to you and your family?
I don't think
Can I
that's
ask you
really the
that even?
case.
Is that rude?
I think it's in a way it's not 100% unreal, but it's not really that big of a thing. Usually, if you're in a very high position and you are in a political position, um, probably you want to be more conservative on what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But for the general public, if you're just making some complaint on your own, social media, I don't see a big issue.
Yeah.
You
I
hear
don't think so either. Yeah.
you hear some crazy stories then. Wow.
Sure. We only get
Even
the
in the
stories.
UK, it's
Like I
crazy
said, you
now.
go on YouTube and you see this guy won, that guy won, all
Yeah,
this type of things, right? So
yeah.
everybody's got their take.
So
We voice our opinions and then we do our shorts and people might think that some of the stuff that we say is true too, Joe. But
can you believe that?
but
That's
you never
just
know.
crazy.
One of the best things that I've seen recently, Norm, was I Show Speed going to China,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
that's been such a huge positive thing. So I think the relationship between so first of all, Canadians don't want to go to the US right now. The numbers are in. Trips from February till now have decreased year over year from Canadians traveling to the US, right? It could be a Canadian dollar thing, it could be just a relationship thing, but you see them going to places like Mexico and all these other places for
Yeah.
vacation. So
Yeah.
obviously there's money flowing around for people to go on vacation. People going from the US to China has also gone up, right? And so now you have this like relationship where people, before might have said, "Oh, the relationship between U.S. and China isn't good," right? Because of what the politicians say, but the actual people who matters, they're actually saying, "No, I want to go there. I want to see what it's like." And guys like I Show Speed, Darryl, if you don't know who that is, or
Yeah. 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 He's
the
a cool black guy.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's a streamer, right?
And
Yeah.
there's
And
something
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
robots, him and robots, dancing
He's very,
robots or
very
something.
famous in China, even
yeah,
before he went to China.
yeah,
I have to comment one thing is that I think part of the reason why the tourists going to China from all across the world increase is because China somehow softened its visa requirements
yeah,
to these developed countries, including Canada, including states, including most European
I think
countries.
it's 2 weeks, no visa. I think it's something
Something
like
like
that.
that.
It's a
I'm not
short
too sure
term.
about that.
Yeah,
I haven't been back to China for a while, but
yeah,
yes, something like that, so
yeah,
that you no longer need to go through a lot of bureaucratic things to apply for the visa. One thing stopped me from traveling to a lot of countries was the visa issue. So if I am someone from US and I figure out, okay, most of the countries on earth I don't need a visa, I'll probably visit those countries first, right?
yeah,
Now China is also open without a visa. The value of visiting China increases compared to if I go to somewhere like Australia or UK or Canada. I
yeah.
want to see something different, right? When I go abroad.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the reason.
I think a lot of people also see these videos that are out there now, and people are starting to realize that, maybe things aren't quite the way I thought they were, or I was
Yeah,
led to believe that they were. And you see
yeah,
these videos of like, holy cow, like it's a different planet over there. These guys are so far advanced. They have the coolest shit everywhere.
yeah.
Everything is like clean, beautiful, new, innovative, like
Yeah.
efficient. And people are like,
Drone KFC, right? If
right?
you're in the
Like
park,
Yeah, yeah,
get a
yeah,
drone to
everything.
drop off
yeah,
KFC.
Some of
yeah,
the craziest stuff I've ever heard of is over there. And it's
yeah.
like people need to go see it with their own eyes now, because I think a lot of people have had this veil lifted where they're realizing, oh shit, it's not how they say it in the movies, right? The movies are propaganda. We think that people in China are sitting there in rice hats and like these little huts, and they're shaking their things all day and all this stuff's happening around them, right? Meanwhile, they're so much more advanced than anywhere in North America. It puts them to shame. And so now people are going, oh, like, wow. And then you lift the visa and it's like, wow, it's a viable option too,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I invite both of you to visit China one day. I could be your guide.
Okay.
I'll take you
We're
up.
gonna do a podcast under the table in Shanghai. So everybody get
Someday,
ready.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll change the
I'll be
name
your
to
guest again by that
Yeah.
time, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
change the name to the
Get ready for
China
that.
Real Estate Show.